Hi guys, how you doing? It's been a little bit of a while since I've been live, and I thought I'd just jump on before I head out for the day. I'll just hold on a moment and see if I can build the tribe before I get going. Or indeed, if this is going to be a quiet Friday morning. Hi Paul, how are you? Are you working from home? Have you isolated already? Are you still hanging out with humans? What's your deal? Here we go, here comes the audience. I'm just waiting for a few people to join. There's normally a lag with these Facebooks, and just wanted to get a few of you watching before I started talking about the fear-mongering, energetically, what it means, what we're meant to be doing for ourselves. Here we go. Hello guys. Hi Kalpan. Hi Simon. How are you? Hello Taz. Let me know if you're isolating at the moment, wherever you are, because I know some of you are watching from around the world. Let me know how all this virus stuff is affecting you personally, whether you're bought into it, whether the restrictions imposed have affected you in any way personally, or with a lack of toilet roll, or even with your business, where you're at. Let me know where you're at. Hi Prince. Hi Martin. How are you? All right. So I have a subscription group, a membership group that I was talking to this morning about what my perception of the virus is, the fear-mongering, how it's really important to be present and not projecting and be trusting on your intuition right now. Hello Grenville, how are you, my love? Right now, or in any times such as where we are now, it's so important that you practice you have a practice of presence in the moment, presence in your life, alignment of where you are, also in your gut instinct. Okay. Now, of course, there is a lot of information branded out there about coronavirus and about what to do, what not to do. Hello, Faye, my love. There's loads and loads out there, and it can lead to a little bit of overwhelm. It can certainly lead to a feeling of fear, and then the panic that's ensuing around you. Now, it's for me, being an intuitive, I've already read the situation of coronavirus. I predicted markets crashing back in January, not even knowing that there was a virus. I was asked specifically about the markets and predicted the crashes, the downturns, the peaks. I know when it's going to peak again. The commodities that were particularly affected by this virus at the moment. Hi Katie, hope you're well. So my predictions about the future, when someone asks me, I will give a prediction at that time. Now, I only channel the single line unless I've been asked specifically to go behind the lines and find out why. So otherwise I'm just surface. But I had predicted a downturn in economy and the markets. So beyond that, hi Gregory, Zoe, everyone else that's joining. Beyond that, I hadn't channeled it. So I went back in and had a conversation intuitively with the virus and what its purpose is, what the intent is of what's happening, and what it's teaching us. So this is what I wanted to share today. Prince, definitely overwhelmed. Okay, so hi Sarah, hi Gregory. We are at the moment put into a space of fear. Fear is a projection. Fear is creating situations out of perhaps not knowing the truth. Okay, and where do you find the truth? The only truth that you're going to find for yourself is within you. Now, the projection of where economies are going, what's happening to countries, it's predominantly unknown, because this is a testing thing that they're doing. They're testing control, they're testing how they can manipulate people, countries, and economies. Okay, now You may or may not buy into this. I'm purely speaking from an energetic perspective of what I get from the virus and what the collective consciousness is doing, okay? And how it can affect you and what it's requiring us to do as individuals. Hi Heather, hi Gabrielle. So what I'm going to ask you to do in this situation is, whilst we can take in the information out there, we can acknowledge that it's there, I'm really going to advise you to take control and be present with what you can do, all right? Not the unknown, because nobody knows, as I said, they're testing, nobody knows where this is going to end out. Yeah, it does slow down our awakening, and actually, how many people have bought into the control? I haven't bulk bought toilet rolls or anything. I do see it passing. I'm hearing by about June. It's already slowed down, and our perceptions towards it are changing. The reason that any of us may be feeling fear-led or overwhelmed is it might be a reflection on control in our own lives. It might be a reflection on how much we feel that we've got our own lives down, you know, like income wise, what we think and feel and how we project ourselves. Interestingly, I've been self-isolating. My contact with other humans has been coming down since, I'm going to say December. I've mingled less with other people, okay, because I just find I vibrationally don't match with them. So therefore, rather than spend the time with these people, I spend the time with myself or the people that I do match with, okay? And I found that less and less I've needed to be live, be out there, be talking to loads and loads of people, and I've brought it back to the meaningful connections, and this is what partly this is about, okay? So the fear-mongering creates division and separation, right? And it will create isolation, and that's really the message of how are you isolating yourself? So with the rise of social media, with the rise of gaming, with the rise of numbing out in maybe alcohol, drugs, antidepressants, whatever it might be. And I'm not saying that that's just numbing out, and antidepressants are absolutely meant for use in certain situations. But what I'm saying is we're checking out more and more and more. There's a self-isolation going out. And this is just asking us to have a look at what we're doing with our lives. It's asking us to understand our boundaries of the information that we let in. It's asking us to look at ourselves and our own resilience, okay? It's also looking at us as how we adapt as individuals and reflect back in our environment and really check in with what we do and don't need. It's a real reflection of gratitude, of understanding where we are and the things that go for free. So if you are currently in a situation where you feel overwhelmed, uncertain, scared, I'm going to ask you to reconnect with your own values of what you can do, what you feel aligned to. First of all, my alignment isn't in the mass media, so I pay no attention. What I've guided myself intuitively on and others has pretty much landed. When I speak to and view the other predictions of other intuitives, I'm very aligned with them. We're all saying the same thing. It is going to pass. It is a test, and it's a huge test of your own specific boundaries and how you choose to live. Okay, so do self-reflect and don't try not to be bought into it. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, reduce your exposure to these things. You are going to thrive in gratitude of what you have, in how you live, and where you send your focus and attention, because that's what's going to thrive more. And it's not to say to ignore it completely. What I'm saying is have an awareness of what's going around you, but your buy-in is what matters. So Andrew, you've said fear is a powerful tool. Emotional mastery is key. We don't need friends. We need a team of like-minded, high-performance individuals. So yeah, whatever that means to you. To me, like-minded people are people that are very aligned, that make choices for themselves, that impact growth from their belief systems, and you group together in that way. High performance might mean different things to different people. To me, it just means being with a bunch of people that are truly aligned to who they are, because they're less likely to be led by hysteria. They're less likely to be led by fear and projection. So if you are currently not in that community and you're all buying into it, then I suggest you find who the people are that you can feel secure in. I'm also going to ask you to have a look at your own boundaries. A virus is bacteria, or a viral, it's bacteria that's invading your body. So it's the same thing about boundaries. What are your boundaries looking like? So if you're one of those people that buy into fear mongering, or it's much worse than it is, then please do have a look at your own boundaries and how you might be compromising those, and how you know that how you can take steps to pull them back. Overgiving, people pleasing, not being undercharging for your services, giving your energy away freely. All these things are really, really important. So if you ever struggle with the virus, or the virus as it is, it's showing you to reassert your boundaries so that you can work effectively, okay? It's also another time of innovation. It's understanding who you are. So if you're currently in a business that's been affected, I'm gonna, whether it's your own business, a freelancer, whether you work for someone else, look at where you can become innovative, because this is also about you reaching your full potential. So this virus is a reflection, a self-reflection into you, to have a look at what are the other ways that you can get out there and show yourself in a truer light, how you can become resilient in your own light, okay? Now, the reason I mention intuition is that if you do take time to be present, if you do take time to develop your personal self and your spiritual self, and by the way, those are one thing, developing yourself spiritually is a personal development, and it's a responsibility that we all should have. And by spiritual, I don't necessarily mean God, I mean your connection to yourself. But if God is your thing, then, I'm not religious, I do believe in a bigger energy. But spiritual development is absolutely key for you to connect to yourself and intuitively connect to what your gut, your inner voice, that your heart, what's going on inside. Your reaction to these are going to be very, very different. I don't know if anybody saw the post that was going around, and I will actually add it to my timeline. It was shared by a dear friend, Paul Webb, about Bruce Lipton, who's a microbiologist, and how he perceives this to be affecting us globally and individually. And he is a very conscious microbiologist and talks about the reaction is everything. He also believes that there's only three actual diseases that are genetic. So how we view what we are and how we react to situations and ourselves is very, very important. The power is with us, not with the governments, the authorities, and the people that run our economies. And we need to stand up and start claiming that. And if you're detached from your intuition in any way, and you're not listening to your inner voice and your gut on how you innovate and how you remain present and aligned, then you are going to be the ones that are overwhelmed and in the mass hysteria about the situation. And I am not feeling any fear about it. I'm not feeling any, personally I'm not feeling it, because I'm aligned with where I'm at. Let me just check your comments. Give me your thoughts on what I'm saying. Undercharging and people pleasing is me. I really need to hear this today. Pleasure, my love. Thank you, Sarah, for saying that. It's something that I had to reflect upon myself in the last 2 weeks, because my boundaries weren't particularly strong, and a virus is an invasion of yourself. So it is about your boundary. It's about your immune boundary, where you sit in your health, and your health is a reflection of your mind. It's a reflection of your actions. So if you can't take control of that, somewhere in your immune system, it's going to come down, and then you're going to experience disease and illness. I've experienced tons of disease and illness. I got cancer and came through it, major tumour. I had chronic fatigue. So I understand how to get over it, as quietening the mind and expanding the inner voice from the heart. Prince, you said, I'm more worried about the social distancing idea relative to older. Yeah, when it comes to it, but simply because families, social contacting is where they're old. Yeah. So this is the thing, okay? Just because you're old, just because your parents are old, just because there may be people in the community that are old, this is our time to reach out to them and show them other ways of communication, okay? Just because they aren't experienced at internet, because they don't do Skype, because they don't do FaceTime, all of that sort of stuff, they do not need to be isolated, okay? We can still connect with them. This is us being innovative and showing the world that we don't necessarily need to do everything in person. Isolation, not being present with someone, doesn't mean that we disconnect. We can still connect. Pick up the phone, right? Send them a message. Make sure you check in with them, okay? Do the things for the older people that are isolated, okay? And encourage them to level up. They're not dead yet, okay? Their life is not over. This is about us becoming more resourceful and not forgetting the old things. Write them a letter, for heaven's sake. Pop a letter through the door. Sanitize your hands first. But write them a letter. These are all things, back to basics, that we can be doing. And to fearmonger on a level, oh, there's isolation and people be alone and they can't survive, and it's rubbish. It's rubbish. We survived before all of this. We can survive again. We've survived the plague. We've survived mass tuberculosis. We've survived so much. This is just the new generation picking it up in a new disease. We've gone through centuries of this stuff. This is not new, okay? So this is my point about trusting your intuition and direction and being guided and be innovative and going back to basics and understanding where we've come from and reapplying it. It's so important that we do not buy into the fear of this, okay? Thank you, Zoe. That's really important. Tell me how you're being affected. Tell me what's going up for you. The media is making out that it's a plague, it's the flu. So interestingly enough, yes, there's lots of advice about washing your hands and sanitizing and things like that. There is also a thing that if you over sanitize, you're not allowing your own bacteria, your own germ building capabilities or germ fighting capabilities to fight off infection. And then therefore you're going to need more medication. I've done what I normally do, right? I don't, yes, it lands on places, but because I've been going out less anyway and spending more time with the people that I want to spend time with and not just randomly out all the time, and I've been doing this since last December anyway, it has no effect on my life. I'm absolutely 100% in tune with my body. I understand its strengths. I understand that I won't be affected. When I intuitively read my own situation, I'm very certain I'm not going to be affected. And you can do the same. And you do that by connecting with your heart voice, your inner voice, and understanding that for yourself, it can be a safe environment, okay? So the fear projection is weakening your boundaries, your links, your immune system, and the worry and stress you're putting onto your body is another layer of weakening, okay? So I teach this once a month. Understand some of you are not local to Southwest London, and in my innovation and adaptation, I am going to start offering webinar classes so that you can learn how to do this yourself, so that you're not feeling overwhelmed and you're not feeling that the environment around you is going to collapse, okay, because of governments shutting down countries or economies and people not offering what they're offering and isolation and all of that, okay? So if you're about in Southwest London on Sunday, and I am doing this in person, I will be in Barnes in Southwest London, and from 2 till 4 I'm going to be showing you how to read the land, okay? And why is that important? How to read the land, how to read the environment, how to read your situation around you, connecting back with your intuition, how to read for plant medicine as well. That's really important. The premise was to talk about plant medicine as well, because that's from the land, because that opens up your intuition. for some people. Having done it, I'm not a fan of it. I know that you can open up if you choose to. We deny ourselves and always need something else to open ourselves up if we're not of the mindset we can do it ourselves, or I'm so blocked, I'm so blocked, I'm so blocked. I didn't see anything in plant medicine that I didn't see for myself already, because my intuition is good, and that's what I'm asking you to do. When you live your life out of a place of intuition, you will be less bothered, less affected by the situations around you, including this so-called pandemic. Okay, and I am going to say so-called. I'm going to be brave enough to call it a so-called pandemic. I don't believe that it's going to wipe out as many people as they're predicting. The effect on the economy has been a reaction through fear. It's not a realistic reaction, is what I'm going to say. And if you're feeling affected in your business, then I'm going to ask you again just to be more innovative, more creative, and go back to basics, because that's inherently what we've lost. So if you look at the viruses that are affecting our surroundings, Mother Nature's been affected by the virus that is the human, and we're killing our planet. There is viruses in our own boundaries, because we can't enforce good boundaries. So therefore our energy levels are depleted, therefore our immune system's depleted, therefore we get ill, therefore we attack ourselves. So everything is a virus. It's just calling you, this bigger thing is calling you to get reconnected. And if you avoid being reconnected to your intuition, we're going to go through this cycle again and again and again until you, not you individually, we collectively wake the fuck up. And that's what's going on. It's interesting. Brexit wasn't phased. This virus, not phased. Everything that I see around me, I'm not phased in the slightest, because intuitively I can see the bigger picture. Intuitively I'm aligned. Intuitively I know the impact I can make to my environment, my group, my choices, my surroundings. Okay, so that's what I'm asking you to do. Reconnect. The power's with you, not with the power with the bigger things. Yes, they're manipulating the economy. Yes, they're manipulating businesses. Yes, they're manipulating the markets, but trust me when I say the power is with you and your choice, and whether you decide to buy into this fear. Okay, if you're interested in learning, come to my workshop. If you're interested in an online webinar to understand how you can become more intuitively connected and clear your own space, understand your own environments and understand your own alignment, comment yes, and then if the demand is there, then I will certainly pop some online webinars up where you can join and learn, no matter where you are in the world, even if you are isolated. All right, so my message to you: make sure that you're aligned, make sure that you go back to basics, make sure that you see innovation and an opportunity in any fear-led environment. It's always an opportunity to learn and reflect in a different way. Make sure that you stay healthy by respecting your body and reconnecting with your body and your body's natural ability to fight disease, to fight negative emotions, to fight anything negative around you, and try and keep your reactions open, okay, without fearing the worst. Try to keep them level and balanced, and try not to live in a space of fear, overwhelm. Easier said than done, but if you're going to buy into mass hysteria, that's where we're going to be. So that's my advice to you. And do spend time making a spiritual connection, and I mean in spirit, to yourself. And if God is your thing, if energy is your thing, if universe is your thing, spend time in that moment, because once you become present, the noise around you becomes quieter. Have an awesome day. If you're watching this on replay, then please leave in comments. If you're interested in a webinar to help you become more intuitively connected, or a series of webinars, let me know. If you want to come on Sunday and learn about your intuition and connection in person, there's a link attached to this live. But I urge you to remain calm, reconnect, and then you'll see the truth. Big love, guys.